In this lecture, we're going to add fallback support for the uploader. Adding drag and drop capability looks cool, and it is. Despite that, we may want to consider adding a fallback because it is prone to errors. We did face a couple of issues when using it. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to a site called Can I Use? I highly recommend bookmarking this site. You can look up which APIs can be used in which browsers. Most modern browsers support the drag and drop feature. It's not something that's supported on mobile devices. In these cases, going with the tried and true is what will yield the best experience for our users. That's done by adding a file upload input field. It works on all browsers and devices because it's been around for a long time. Implementing the file input won't take much work. We've written most of the logic for uploading a file. The difference will be dealing with how we retrieve the file. Let's get started. In the editor, open the Upload Component file. We'll want to add a file input field to the template. We're going to place it under the Upload drop box. File inputs can accept multiple uploads by adding the Multiple attribute. This is an HTML attribute. It's not related to view. The next thing we'll want to do is listen to the change event. During this event, call the upload function with the event object passed in. We'll need to update the upload function because the files are stored in another location if uploaded through a file input. Let's see where the list of files is stored. Inside the function, we're going to log the event object. Next, we'll proceed with uploading a file through the file input in the browser. An error will get produced in the console, but that's perfectly fine. We're interested in inspecting the contents of the event object. Inside the object, we have the same properties as before. One significant difference is that there isn't a data transfer object. This is not an error or a bug. The data transfer object is exposed if the event was triggered by a drag and drop event. This is why we get an error in the console. We can find the list of files under the target object. The target object refers to the input field element. It's what we attached the event listener to. The target will come with the files object. This object is the same object we looped through to upload the files. It becomes obvious what it is that we need to do. We'll need to make a small adjustment to our function. It should check if the data transfer property exists on the event. If it does, we'll use it. Otherwise, we'll grab the files from the target property. Back in the editor, we're going to remove the log statement. We don't need it anymore. The files variable will need to be updated. Instead of directly setting it to the data transfer object, we'll use a ternary operator. We'll want to create a conditional statement that will check if the event was triggered by a drag and drop or a change event. The condition will check if the events.dataTransfer object is present. This property gets defined if the event was a drag and drop event. It won't exist if it's a different event. If this condition turns out to be true, we'll want to set the files variable to the events.dataTransfer.files property. Otherwise, we'll set it to event.target.files. In both scenarios, we're still using the spread operator because the property will always be an object. This line will convert them into an array. We won't need to make any further modifications. The files property are the same in both events. We shouldn't experience further issues. Let's try testing the uploader one more time. The upload will ultimately be a success. Either upload will work in any order we please. The console shouldn't produce errors either. Creating a fallback is never a bad idea. You will always want to consider scenarios like this.